sacrifices people are willing to make to get the message out, to get justice to these people.
I think that'll do it then for me. Is there anything else you want to add? Anything you think is important to mention that we haven't talked about?
Not necessarily. I guess if, we're a bunch of people with a lot of different opinions. Ultimately, what we can agree on is that we need to have accountability, and that's all we're really
I think that'll do it then.
Lower scale protests than what we've seen over the last few weeks. So certainly a lot more peaceful. We've seen police actually drive by just on routine, but it's here pretty peaceful. If anything happens here.
Some of us who are firearm owners to come out here because there were people who were planning on doing a protest out here, and we noticed a big difference when there's armed protesters and when there's unarmed protesters. Virgil from the Greene County Herald, the one time he was not carrying a firearm at a protest, as a journalist, as a legally armed journalist, the one time he was not carrying, they arrested him for filming them. He didn't break any laws. He was not told to leave by the mall. He was not part of the protest. He was actually there as a news reporter, just like you. The police at the die-in here and at the die-in over across at the mall have been being very brutal. They threatened to arrest my 14-year-old son for filming them. He was there with his with me as a journalist as well at the time. I was not participating in the die-in. I didn't defy any police orders. I didn't defy any mall orders. I got specific permission from the mall security to re-enter the mall and go shopping. They gave me that permission. The police didn't care, even though that's private property. They decided that they would make up the rules, they would make up the laws. It didn't matter that it was private property, that we had been given permission to stay there and re-enter through another entrance, and that only that entrance had been closed. The mall had not been closed. Protesters were not told to leave the premises by the mall and not re-enter if they wanted to shop. They were told, in fact, that they could, but that didn't matter. The officers had threatened a woman in a wheelchair. They had pushed my 9-year-old son. They had pushed a retired UD law professor down. I was right next to her when that happened. We could not get out of the mall because of the way the police came at everybody with force, not just telling people to move, but physically, illegally pushing people. And it basically, there were shoppers getting caught up in there. They grabbed one woman with the stroller and grabbed her arm and told her that they were arresting her. She said, "I'm here to shop." So this prompted a lot of us to come out and, exercise our Second Amendment right, and in conjunction with our First Amendment constitutional right. Because as I noted, when Virgil from the Greene County Herald was unarmed the one time that he came out as a member of the press, unarmed, his First Amendment constitutional right was violated because he was not exercising his Second Amendment constitutional right. And that's what we're trying to emphasize right here. Well, you'll see a lot of videos of all this coverage on the Greene County Herald, on countercurrentnews.com, on Alternative Media Syndicate, and sometimes there's coverage from the anti-media as well. So those are the main sites. Countercurrent News has the most news, the most coverage on all of this. Greene County Herald has editorial write-ups on this from Virgil. The police were scoffing at the idea that he was a journalist. They threatened to arrest a reporter from Channel 2 News. Channel 2 aired that. They have that on their website. You can hear the officers threatening to arrest her. Basically what we've got is we've got the police no longer interested in enforcing the law. They're supposed to be law enforcement officers. They're enforcing respect for them as law enforcement officers. And if you don't show them that respect, regardless of whether or not you're breaking the law, they're going to arrest you. They're going to push you down. They're going to threaten to arrest a 14-year-old. They're going to do all sorts of illegal things because it's not about the law. It's not that we're anti-law enforcement. We're anti-rogue cop. We're anti-cops making...
Stop it.
Stop being about peace and love. I'm sorry, am I missing
You're
something here?
not being about peace and love.
I love
You're
you and I don't know you.
enforcing
You
that.
should be that way for me and that.
You're creating
What's going on should
more
stop.
problems.
Well, if we had justice, we wouldn't be out here right now.
There ain't no
Someone has
justice.
to put in
Dude
work.
didn't put the gun down.
So that means he deserves to
You
die?
do what the police tell you and ask questions later. Ridiculous.
I agree with you. Does that mean he deserves to die?
didn't deserve to die, but
So
he
what's your
should've put the
argument?
gun
I'm here for
down.
peace, ma'am. I love you. That's all.
I love you too.
Well, then let's act that
He
way.
should've put
That's
the
wonderful.
gun down.
Me and you should continue on and love each other and everyone else out here.
Leave people alone. Let it go.
We have to raise an awareness some kind of way,
It's done,
sweetie.
and it's over. We're
No, it's
all
not.
aware.
If it was over, it would have happened like
You're
400 years
keeping
ago,
it
right?
open, dude.
I'm not keeping it
Let
going.
it
I'm
go.
keeping something else stronger than that going. I love you. You have a good one. Just remember, all lives matter, especially us black folks. How you doing, sweetie? All right. All right. Red light? Okay, no, not red light. But you asked me if I had something to say. I always have plenty of things to say. One of the things that I would like to say is that we've let a lot of time go. We had a huge gap between one of our strongest leaders in the past. I don't care if you mention Martin V.C., Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. Up until now, we haven't had a strong presence to lead the forefront with us brothers and sisters. And it's wonderful now that everybody's deciding to wake up. And we can't sleep now. We would have more progress if we hadn't took a sudden halt. And if things were going on that I didn't know about, I wish I did know, because I'd have definitely been doing my part in supporting. But right now, we need everybody to stand up and take charge and just be a part of it. Because remember, if you don't help us, in the way you help them, if you don't help either side, you help them because they don't have to worry about you and they can try to knock out us. And they have a stronger army than we do now at this point, but it won't be that way with the vision that I see. And we just have to continue to grow and be strong every day. And not forget why we're here. Everybody has to remember why they're here ultimately, every single person. And just know that we all can make a difference in our own way, some kind of way, whether it's donating or being out and about, rallying. Just do your part, you know? We just can't let certain things go. That's what they want us to do, is to let this go. Like that lady said, it's over, it's done. Well, she wants it to be gone so that another thing can happen. Let the system, we just can't let the system, we can't let folks think that it's something that they could just brush under the rug. This can never be brushed under the rug. It won't be brushed under the rug. Not while I'm still breathing. I may be the next person gone, I don't know, but until then, I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna be loud and sharp. And hopefully if something does happen to me, someone's ready to take my place and it continues and they know that we're moving and we're not stopping. I don't even know what stop, quit, and I don't know how to do means. All I know is how to do and then continue my action and keep moving forward. That's it, that's all. And that's what I'm gonna continue to do. That's what I'm gonna continue to do. My name is Tallis Gage and I'm out here for justice. Peace and love for everybody. It's that time. We are awake. We are awake.
I don't know. I can't believe that the things that are going on in this day and age. So.
In 2014, it shocks me. It does.
It's supposed to be 2015. You got people.
They're all fair game, meaning arrest anyone cops say, and it's on video. Get that guy with the sign, and he's going. Wait until he goes over that way. And he had a sign that said Black Lives Matter. And I got it on video, and I still have it. I've been trying to give it to the news channels, but they won't accept it. Because they don't want to hear about what the cops do. They just want the bad stuff, you know, what the bad protesters do. But the protesters were peaceful. They were targeting and snatching people up for no reason. Either they wasn't walking fast enough, they shoved a child, matter of fact, 2 children, and they shoved me, and they were putting their hands on people who were walking peacefully. You know, you have no right to shove me, period, in a wheelchair. He could have flipped me forward and caused problems, or tipped me sideways as hard as he shoved me in the back of that wheelchair. You know what I mean? I'm by myself at that time. You should handle me with care, and I have rights as an American with disability. You do not.
Have you contacted anybody with Americans with Disabilities?
Not yet, but we're going to. We filed a complaint with the police chief of Beaver Creek. And there's a lot of people that have also filed complaints. So.
I think that we should go ahead with that, because I don't see the complaint as being one of those things that they're going to pursue internally.
Yeah.
As effectively as Americans with Disabilities for the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Yeah.
And I've seen the same thing happen to people in Milwaukee and the Capitol protesting.
Yes.
And they were also.
I'm sorry, I have trouble hearing you there.
I'm sure that they were taken to court over those issues as well.
Yeah, but the cops have no right to shove people that are in a wheelchair, period. And that really ticked my husband off, and that's why he wants a sit-down talk with the chief of police. Because the way he was treated trying to get to me and trying to block him from getting to me, it was like they targeted me for arrest. And they were just targeting people, left and right, that were doing nothing.
It's a tactic by the police to try to crush the will of the protesters, especially if they happen to be located on private property without the request of the mall or any private property owner.
But it still gives them no right to touch me, period. Touch my chair, touch my arms, or get in my husband's face. And if any of you guys would like a copy of the video, I'd be more than happy to give you a copy.
I would get in contact with the Waken Cincinnatians.
Yeah,
they have a Facebook reach that I don't have, and they might be a better outlet for the video, actually.
Yeah. Well, it's on YouTube right now. A friend of mine put it up on YouTube. Actually, Micah put it on YouTube, along with his story about me being pushed as long as with others.
Do you know what the channel is?
Go to Counter Current News and search the story there, and the video is at the bottom.
I will definitely try to take a look at it. They might have it already, but I'll find out. Let's see. Thank you for the interview.
Oh, you're welcome.
My name is Lloyd. Take a beat.
Christine.
Just ask about, you was at Fairview Mall.
I was arrested at the mall, yes. Let me turn this down a little bit. Yeah, so a couple of days ago we were here at the mall. I was there not as a protester. Today I'm here as a protester. At the mall I was there as a journalist, clearly differentiating myself. I had my press credentials on and so on, and as we were walking out, it's interesting. Cops actually started making arrests as people were leaving. They ordered everyone to leave, and as people were obeying the orders, they started arresting folks, which makes no sense. To me, that's a clear escalation of what was happening. So, and then they grabbed me. You know, I was out at the entrance there. They grabbed me as well. I think they arrested, I don't know, a dozen people or so. I can't remember how many. So, so it's unfortunate. I think they charged everyone with trespassing and obstruction of something, official business. But here we are again, and we're armed. So so far I haven't seen any cops, and we'll see what happens. So we'll see. I wish more people would be here, but it is what it is. So I think the bond for everyone, if you live in Greene County, is